Back again. This is another short video which I made one this morning on Bob the cat, and this one, I haven't put the light on, let me get a bit of light here, there we are. This one is about William Joseph Thorne, a snooker player. Saw a bit of news on that, and I've never done anything about snooker. I'm preparing some notes on making a book on athletes and sports people, and I thought this would be a good one to add to it and see what I can find. So I've got loads of sort of books on throughout the moment. This one is really something that is similar to what I've written in this book, Your Days Are Numbered, which is mainly about deaths actually, connecting people's deaths to the date in which they occur. I'm going to give you one which connects his death, which he passed away this morning apparently. A famous, or at least in British eyes, a famous snooker player, and this book contains one birth, and I thought, well, maybe I can do births. And I've done quite a few births now and associated people's birth dates to the name, and I will do that as well with William Thorne. He's called Willie Thorne, that's what he's known as, Willie. People shorten their names from William to Willie or Bill or things like that, so that's not uncommon. So the first thing I'm going to do is I can connect him to a snooker player, and I can actually do that twice. So first of all, I'm going to look at the word snooker player, which is spelled like this, snooker player. Okay, snooker player, I'm going to use the placement values. S is the 19th letter, N is the 14th letter, O is the 15th, and if I add up all those letters, I'll get 174. That's the placement value. And then I'm going to use the large value, which I described this morning, and I'll say it again, where S is 19, and we take the word 19, if I can spell it right, 19, and I work out the placement value of 19. N is 14, I is 9, N is 14, E is 5, etc. And I'll get 86. So 19 is 86. That becomes the large value of S. So if I do that for each one of these numbers, the 14, the word 14 is 104, O is 15, 15th letter, the word 15 is 65, etc., etc., all the way along there, and I will get the large value for the whole word is 979. I'll let you go ahead and work that out. Every one of my books has the tables of the systems that I use, usually at the front, sometimes at the back. Here's got the placement value here, and here's got the large value table, so you can check up on how I'm doing my calculations. And if I add that together, I'll get 3511, 1153. Now I'm going to take, let's put that number down here so we don't forget it. So that was, oops, put a W there because I'm about to write a W. This is what we call, what I call the whole value, where I add the placement and the large value together. I call it the whole value. It's historical because I didn't discover the placement value. That's something which other people have used, and it's used in Hebrew as well. I borrowed it over at that time that I found about this. And the large value is something that I discovered in about 2002 when I was writing my second book, The End of Evil. I discovered the large values, and I thought just by extending it, I'll explain the history behind that sometime, how I actually discovered that. So that is, we're going to, the snooker player, I'm going to rub that off, and I'm going to now write up his name, and we're going to, remember this is the whole value, the placement and the large value. His name is William, we'll miss out his middle name, which is Joseph for the moment, Thorne. So William Thorne has a placement value of 159 PV, and it has a large value, the same system as we did before, same two systems, of 994. If I add those two, I get 3511. So I get the same number with the same two systems. So William Thorne equals snooker player in the whole value, both, okay, which is quite nice. So, but that's not the only way that we can find a connection. We can use his nickname. And if we write Willie Joseph, I'm going to use his middle name now, and we use the placement value. The placement value is 143 PV. And now use the normal value, which I also showed this morning in Bob the Cat, where W takes the value of 500. This is the normal value where it's used in Greek and in Hebrew, where the letters take a decimal value. So you go from A to J is 1 to 10, and then K is 20, you go up in tens. K is 20, L is 30, M is 40, and then you get to S's, which is 100, and then T will be 200, and you get into the hundreds. So you've got the units, tens, and hundreds. So using that system, again, we add up all the letters. L is 30, etc. J is 10, O is 60, S is 100. Add that all together using the normal values, and I get 836, and that's NV, the normal values. In Hebrew it's called Mispar Gali, which means the regular values, but I use NV. And if I add that together, I get 979. Now if you remember, you might not, actually I call this total, when I add the placement to the normal, I call that the total value, TV, just another name. But we had before snooker player. We had the large value for snooker player as being 979. Okay, that was the large value, and I added that to the placement value, which was 174, and I got 1,503, which was over there. Okay, so but the large value is 979, which is the same as the total value of Willie Joseph. So I've connected his name, both his nickname and his birth name, to snooker player. So with two connections, that makes him a good player. That makes him a good player. That gives you strength, a very strong connection to his profession. He didn't just do it as a hobby. So now, just to finish off, I'm going to show you how we can connect him to his birthday and to his death date. And birthdays are sometimes quite difficult to do. You've got to have the whole person's name. You've got to use that. I make that a condition, because if that's the name that's given at birth, that has to be part of the equation. But you've got to look at the different scenarios where it can be. Sometimes it requires to know where he's born. I have no idea where he's born. It's not given in Wikipedia. It doesn't say where he was born, whether he's born in a hospital or home, anything like that. So there are various ways of finding, and there might be more than one way of finding a connection. Well, this is the connection I found. I'm going to write this as small as possible. William. Now I have to use the whole Joseph Thorne. And I put in a snooker player because this is like a prophecy of what he's going to be. It's like, that's it. When he's born, he's going to be a snooker player. A snooker player is born today. Okay, so that's the phrase I'm using. Sometimes I use the day that a person is born, or I say today. There are, again, various different ways of doing it, but that increases the likelihood of you finding connection. Yeah, it's not that much. There's not many there, and if you keep finding them, it's not so much that I can find it for Joseph, it's the fact that I can find it for so many other people. That's the key. So if I find the placement value, and I always use the placement value for these, don't want to spend years working these things out. If it doesn't work with the placement value, then it's going to be of no use because it takes too long. Need a computer. William Joseph Thorne, a snooker player, is born today. He's 549, and he was born on the 4th of March. I'm not going to be able to write. I write that 1000 T for 1000 1900 H for 100 and 50. 4. And if you work out each one of those letters, of course, 1,000 and 100 you have to write out in full. If you work out the placement value for all those, 4th of March, 1,954, you'll get 549. And of course, there's different ways of writing the date. I could have written the 4th of March, or I could have written March the 4th. Different ways. There's 8 ways of writing it with the actual year. And then you've got maybe, you'll have those 8 values of the date that he's born, and you'll have maybe 10, 12 different ways of writing the birth, not many. And you have to match those up, and the probability is quite small, all right, because you've got a big range of values, and you're expecting these values to hit those values. It's not so easy, okay? The fact that it happens to me is not by coincidence. Now we'll look at the death of him. Fortunately, he got leukemia some time back, and that led to his final demise. Only 66, but you know, God takes us when we have had our time. The day, so I've got here the day, snooker player, William, I'm going to write the short, William Joseph Thorne, WJT, dies. And working that using the full name, of course, we get 506 using the placement value. And the date that he died, again another variation of the date, June the the 17th, which is today, 17th, 2020, and if I work all that out with all the placement values, I'll get 506. So there is a destiny there, a destiny of birth and a destiny of death. I've done this before with some other people on my lectures, and I've shown the connection between the birth and the death. It seems that there is a day, or possible day. There's obviously a number of possible days that would equal to 506. All right, so there might well be possible days that we could pass away on, and maybe, as they say, our time is fixed in heaven. Right, keep well, and we'll speak to you again.